So I think a good conversation piece I should have on this to record. I guess now too, because the later I wait, the further away it gets, is my memories as a child. Um, it's kind of hard to speak on something like that because, like, you don't necessarily know what's true or not. You might be just like envisioning something that you think happened, but didn't because it's so far ago. But I think it's worth putting into words and recording. But I guess I'll start with as far back as I can remember. And I don't even know if I was verbal or not. I do remember the house I grew up in the suburb of Oak Lawn, Illinois. Just maybe 15, 20 minutes from 20 miles from downtown Chicago, which is funny because as a child I felt like it could have been Egypt. We never went down there, but now I run 6 to 12 miles a day, and so like I literally could have been downtown every single day. But that's just perspective and hindsight. So it wasn't that far. My first memories were the living room, the front room. Most of the houses in Chicago, they have big glass windows, brick buildings, bungalows, ranch style homes, they call them, Pullman houses. There's a trend if you look at any of the suburbs of the south side of the city. Greenwood is where my father was from. Oak Lawn was where my mother was from. And there's definitely a trend. Greenwood is a little more congested than Oak Lawn. It's interesting. The street of Pulaski separated what was officially considered the city versus suburb quotations. Those are all man-made constructs. And yeah, at the window in the living room, the furniture being disorganized. The reason I know this is because there's pictures and videos. I'm sure these VHS tapes are long dead, just like this video will be. But hopefully one of y'all get to see this and mean something. Nothing like substantial until I was 6 or 7. I remember my little brother being a baby, sleeping in a car seat. He couldn't only fall asleep in a car seat, only with a binky, a little pacifier. Yeah, no, so the house never changed. If I go back now, it's about the same. There's carpet, I do remember that. But the window and the trees in the front yard got cut down when I was younger. Um, a big evergreen tree and 2 large bushes that were 7 feet tall. Weird things. But like me, who I am as a person, no, I don't. They were all built into that, but nothing I can remember. I guess we go more into my family relationship. I just started getting a little smarter. But yeah, it was almost like watching a movie. No control. It was all instincts. At least that's the way I think of it. At least. It wasn't until I was more like 6 or 7, 5, 6, 7, when I knew I was making decisions on my own. Kind of weird now that I talk about it out loud. That I was watching a show, but yeah, it was pretty much all on instincts and observation until then. Or so I perceive. Ask a 4-year-old or 5-year-old, see if you get a better answer. Or ask me when I'm 70. I'm fucking coked out of my mind from doing all the drugs after I retired from the military. Who knows? Or if I'm even making it past fucking tomorrow. But man, it's wild when you think about it like that. Just along for the ride. Like, who remembers before they were born? I don't. Some things look familiar, you think, but did your dad or mom really genetically pass that on to you? Probably not. I'm speaking in reference of going to a house my dad grew up in, because my uncle ended up buying it. It always felt weirdly familiar, but so young, I don't know. I think he used to tell me he saw aliens when he was a baby or young, but when you're 10, 12, you don't know. Fuck, you don't even know anything now. When you're 30, 31. But, yeah, I mean, life was good. I made it to 5 or 6. I didn't die of typhoid. I didn't die of, like, alcohol poisoning from my mom drinking in the womb or secondhand smoke. Like everyone else, every other human did before 150 years ago. It was real rough making it to 5 or 6, so it's pretty cool, I guess. Honestly, off the top of my head, that's the important stuff. Just the basic observations, the sky, not the sky, but like the weather. I knew it snowed during the winter, hot as fuck during the summer. I knew we had trees in the front yard and stuff that got cut down. I knew we had carpet, things that got taken away are what I noticed the most because they were constants that weren't there anymore. But my mom and dad were still there. And Dan eventually showed up, and in the grand scheme of things, everything went really well. It was like it was formative years. And I can say for a fact that everything went pretty well for the formative years of my children. The only thing being is me not being there, being in the military. But eventually I wasn't going to be there no matter what. So it's comfortable, as comforting as it would be to give everything up and be there. You wouldn't be able to provide the same lifestyle that I get to live right now. And I wouldn't be cementing the future that I can afford to them. Because I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that they have options available and they have the ability to make the mistakes that I made that I never really had to suffer any consequences for. Either out of dumb luck or smart foresight, which I will never credit my younger self to, as much as he would love, 21-year-old David would love me to say that he was protective and he would never get in trouble. A lot of dumb luck involved with me keeping what I've earned and building on top of it. I could have lost many a fortune before this. I forgot where I was going. I'm starting to ramble. We'll cut it off there. I don't really remember much before 5. Mother came along, lived in the world I lived in, and started making my own opinions. Once I started making my own opinions, I became more conscious, I guess. That's how I feel about that. Alright. Won't bore you guys any longer. I'm still around to ask me questions. Love you guys. Bye.